You're grinding every day. Long hours, no backup, no accountability. That ends now. The Empower Solopreneur Mastermind gives you one simple advantage: a weekly power session that turns isolation into domination. Every Friday morning on Zoom, you'll get real coaching and real feedback to make real moves. Join a group of driven professionals in a program designed for solopreneurs and people working at home. Stop getting stuck. Start scaling. Seats are limited. Lock in yours today at modernobserver.com/empower-mastermind.
A replacement for Obamacare. Congress moves closer to avoiding another shutdown. A trade deal with Taiwan, and more. Welcome to the Raw Naked Truth. I'm your host, Eric Lopkin, and here's the news you need to know. President Trump on Thursday unveiled an affordability framework for health care aimed at lowering drug prices and insurance premiums. The framework, which Trump dubbed the Great Healthcare Plan, includes many proposals that Trump or Congress have pushed in recent years, but it does not call for a subsidy extension. Trump said Congress needs to codify the White House's voluntary most favored nation agreements with drug companies to lower prices of certain prescriptions and increase the availability of over-the-counter medicines. The plan also builds on Trump's calls to send billions in subsidies directly to Americans rather than insurance companies, which he has been advocating for amid the debate over whether to extend the ACA's expired enhanced premium subsidies. Trump's framework would allow individuals to use government subsidies to purchase health insurance plans of their choice. The plan would save the government tens of billions of dollars over the current Affordable Care Act. After a brief series of delay tactics deployed by Democrats, the Senate passed a $174 billion spending package, sending a trio of funding bills to President Donald Trump's desk. The move puts Congress one step closer to averting a partial government shutdown, but lawmakers are only halfway through completing and passing the legislation needed to keep the lights on in Washington, D.C. Neither party is keen to repeat the events of last fall, when Congress shattered the record for the longest government shutdown in history at 43 days. Still, hurdles remain before the fast-approaching January 30th deadline to fund the government. The United States and Taiwan on Thursday reached a new trade agreement aimed at reshoring semiconductor manufacturing and strengthening U.S. supply chains, according to the Department of Commerce. The deal commits Taiwanese semiconductor and technology companies to at least $250 billion in direct U.S. investment to advance America First trade and investment, with an additional $250 billion in credit guarantees to support expansion across the industry's supply chain in the U.S. American and Taiwanese officials say the agreement is designed to reverse decades of offshoring that cut America's share of global semiconductor fabrication from 37% in 1990 to under 10% in 2024. At least one U.S. aircraft carrier is being moved towards the Middle East as tensions with Iran continue to build. It is not yet clear whether the carrier is the USS Abraham Lincoln, currently operating in the South China Sea, or one of the two carriers that departed Norfolk and San Diego earlier this week. Transit to the region is expected to take at least a week. U.S. military assets from air, land, and sea are expected to flow into the region in the coming days and weeks to provide the president with military options should he decide to carry out strikes against Iran, sources say. Venezuelan opposition leader Maria Corina Machado said she'd presented President Donald Trump with her Nobel Peace Prize medal, describing it as a historic gesture, recognizing his commitment to freedom and the fight against tyranny. Machado spoke with reporters outside the U.S. Capitol Thursday when she was asked whether she offered her Nobel Peace Prize to Trump. I presented the President of the United States the medal, the Nobel Peace Prize, and I told him, listen to this. 200 years ago, General Lafayette gave Simon Bolivar a medal with George Washington's face on it, Machado said. He kept that medal for the rest of his life. Actually, when you see his portraits, you can see the medal. She said Lafayette gave the medal to Bolivar as a symbol of the partnership between the people of the U.S. and the people of Venezuela and their shared fight for freedom against tyranny. About a week after Elon Musk's AI chatbot Grok drew widespread criticism for generating sexualized images of women and children, the company said it was restricting Grok's ability to do so in jurisdictions where it is illegal. According to the New York Times, the restrictions appeared to only apply to the use of Grok on X and not on Grok's standalone website or app. Despite X's move to disable the feature, the company is still under investigation by several countries and U.S. states, including Canada and California. Verizon is offering wireless customers affected by Wednesday's outage a $20 account credit, apologizing for an hours-long service interruption that a spokesman said was tied to an issue with a software update. That's the Raw Naked Truth for January 16th, 2026. You can catch every episode of the Raw Naked Truth Daily News Brief, as well as our sister podcast, Carnivore Radio, with news analysis and commentary, and the rest of the Xvadio Podcast Network at xvadio.com, the Apple Podcast app, YouTube, Rumble, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Audible, Amazon Music, and other platforms that respect freedom of speech. We'll see you next time.